Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a good week. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here in the Janik household. Internet's not working, computer's not working great, so we're going to see if we can get this video out to you guys in a timely fashion. Sorry if it's going to be a little late today. All right, so yesterday and Monday we started patterns and we looked at how we can make repeating patterns with shapes and objects. And most of you did a really good job with that. I really appreciate the effort that you put into it. But today we're moving on to patterns that have to do with numbers. And these patterns aren't necessarily always going to be just a simple repeating pattern. We're going to look at how patterns actually grow or decrease as well. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So as you all know, you're already in the Nearpod, and hopefully you answered the first question or two that are before here. Most of you did really good job on Monday and Tuesday with answering all the work that was on the Google Forms, but you missed a lot of the questions that were in the Nearpod. So you got to make sure that you're answering a lot of those, because I put a couple word problems at the end here that you're going to have to draw out using the drawing tool in Nearpod and answer those questions. So hopefully you're going to take the time, really pay attention to those. So today we're here in patterns with numbers, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. So let's move forward here. The essential question, you guys already answered that question. We saw this the other day when we were working on patterns that have to do with numbers. Let me move this screen up a little bit so I can get to the tools. All right. If we're going to be looking at repeating patterns or growing patterns, this pattern, let's take a look at this one. We have a full thing here, and then we're missing one shape up here. And now we're missing a shape here, and we're missing a shape here. And now we're missing a shape here, here, and here. We've decreased by 3, and we keep on decreasing, so this pattern keeps on getting a little bit smaller as we go. This one, we got the plus sign, half moon, plus sign, half moon, plus sign, half moon. What do you think would go here? Yeah, the plus sign. This would be a repeating pattern, and that's most of the patterns that we saw the other day, was that it repeats plus half moon. This one would be a growing pattern. It grows this way or it decreases this way, but the size and the amount of the actual pattern is going to change. So for instance, if we had a square, if I just had a simple square, and then I had a circle, and then I had a square, these are not the greatest circles and squares, and another circle, and a square, we would call this a repeating pattern because it repeats circle, square, circle, or square, circle, square, circle, square, circle as we keep going. All right. Wish there was a nicer, easier way to erase all of everything here in these tools. All right. But if we're looking at a repeating or a growing pattern, I have my square, and then I have a circle, and then I have a square, and this would, we could say, would grow by 2 circles. And then I have a square. And then what do you think the next growing piece of this pattern would be? 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. And then I'd have my square. And then if I'm growing, and I'm growing by 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Over here we'd have 3 plus 1 would give us our 4. That's going to go way over here. 3, 4. And then we would have our square. And then this pattern would just keep growing until, forever. So let's look at the next. We're going to skip this. So let's look at these first couple ones. It's going to be asking us how these patterns are actually growing, but we're going to have to be doing it with numbers. So George had started walking for exercise. He walks 25 minutes a day for the first week. He will then add 5 minutes a day for each week after the first week. How long will George be walking after 5 weeks? Well, if we had, and I'm just going to put up the answers here for us because it's just easier to visualize. The first week we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes the first week. The next week we add another. We got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And then the last week, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So each week grows by 5 until we get to the 5th week and we have a total of 5. So the pattern would be increasing by 5. So next one over here. Let's see, go back one. All right, Emmett's family is replacing the walkway in the front of their house. After completing 2 feet of the walkway, they used 7 paving stones. After completing 4 feet, they used 14 stones. And then after completing 6 feet, they used 21 stones. How many stones will it take to complete the walkway if it is 24 feet long? So this, we're going to have to sketch this out. So I'm going to suggest that when you're doing this, you have some sort of scrap paper next to you and a pencil so that you can be working out these problems, because all the problems you're going to see today are going to take a little bit of trial and error and doing some math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing to actually figure out the answers. So let's look at this first one. We got 2 feet. They use 7 stones. And then we go to 4 feet, and they use, and I should put an arrow here. They used 14 stones. And then the next one, we went to 6 feet, and they used 21 stones. So this is what we need to figure out. How many stones? We got to figure out what the pattern here. What is this growing by? So for the first one here, it grows by, these grow by 2s, 2, 4, 6. But over here, what does this grow by? Between 7 and 14. What's the difference between 7 and 14? How many do we need to add to 7 to get to 14? Another 7. Let's give it a try. 7 plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then what if we add 7 to 14? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So pretty good guess is that our pattern is increasing by 7. But we have to get all the way to 24 feet. So we're at 6. So then the next we'd have to figure out what 8 is. Then we'd have to figure out what 10 is. And then we'd have to figure out what 12 is. 14, 16, and so on until we got to the answer. And our answer is going to look like this. If we can see this over here. 2 feet, 7 stones. 4 feet, 14 stones. 6 feet, 21 stones. Another 7 on top of 21, 28, 35, 42, 49. And once we got all the way down here, we counted by 2s until we got to 24, we would figure out that we would need 84 stones to complete the walkway. So this you're counting by 2s to figure out how many spaces that you need to fill out. And then on this, where we're trying to figure out the stones, we have to add by 7 to figure out the answer. Now that's just this one. Now the rule is going to always be different for our patterns of how much they're actually increasing.